got turned around by my biology teacher, went into environmental biology, and then shifted towards landscape architecture when I graduated from college. And I did that before you were born. So this is just kind of a really interesting. But I wanted to talk to you or tell you about, please check out our Facebook page for Homegrown Habitat El Dorado counties. There are a couple of homegrown habitat pages for various areas, but it's a focus on growing natives where you are to enhance that habitat and do all the things that these guys have talked about today. So if you're interested in gardening with natives, please come and join us there, because that's really as much of a part of our goal as conservation. We all know that the habitat has been degraded substantially in our state, not worldwide. And so everything you can do to help create these patches of habitat really makes a huge difference for everything it depends on. So thank you. And with that, we'll have Renee, our guest, here on stage, please, for Q&A.
Sponsored by Century.
You have a microphone? Yes, use this one. You guys are welcome to sit down.
They're flexing.
Okay, so I'm going to come down here, and then whoever wants to ask a question, you just come on up, and I'll give you the microphone. Yeah, come on up here. You can form a line up here if anyone wants to ask us.
Hi. Hi, you guys. Thank you so much. Is it doing anything? Yeah. All right. I was very interested that you brought up the cowboy fire, the burn star, and it's very emotional for me because we lived through some of that. And can you speak up, please? So I want to know how to gather all these people and you guys to go to our Forest Service office in Placerville and demand that our forest supervisor do something about this. How can we gather like you guys did for the Coyote Creek? And I want to start something. My son said he thinks drones are spraying.
I believe it.
And it's just acres and acres of awful.
And the part a lot of people don't talk about is it's a lot of immigrant workers. When I was there, it was a lot of home workers, completely covered in herbicide their whole body. And you know they don't know what they're doing.
Use your mic.
Oh, sorry.
So when I saw it, there was 4 immigrant Guatemalan workers that couldn't speak English that were spraying, and they were completely covered in blue and purple. And you know they don't know the consequences. They're just working, and probably just came a few weeks ago on an immigrant visa because it's through the government, so it's not like illegal immigration. It's legal, so they came here legally, and they're getting poisoned. And they're doing it because they know if Americans did it, they'd get poisoned, and then they talk about it, in my opinion at least. And to help you, I would say, I could help you. We could talk about it after. I'll make a video so we can talk about it, because I'm so down.
So I like the way you expose people and you're willing to talk to the camera and say something. So our county Department of Agriculture head believes glyphosate does not get in our water. I just had to say that.
Thank you for that.
I asked her if she worked for Monsanto and Bayer.
Can I add something real quick? Just to add to what she just said, they will say it doesn't get in our water while they're spraying an entire, like literally thousands of acres in the Sierra Nevada mountains that 80% of California depends on for water. So if you think that's not getting your water, then you don't understand water, because they're spraying the plants, then it's snowing on the plants they spray, then that snow melts, and then it's going straight to the creeks, to the American River, to Folsom Dam.
Can I just ask why They're spraying.
She asked, why are they spraying?
It's standard practice. Everyone, that's what they've determined is the most efficient way to handle whatever it is they're trying to do. The roadsides, Forest Service, this is all standard practice. So the only way this is going to change is if there's a better way. I mean, this is just how it's done. And I hear this, and I'm horrified. You can imagine through the industry that I'm working within, there's a lot of things that are really disturbing to me. But until there's a better way, you're not going to change what they're doing.
So a better way to do what?
Keep the fuel load down.
Just think about the roadsides everywhere. They're spraying that to keep the weeds off the roadsides. And that's the easiest, most effective way to do it.
They want to plant trees for lumber, right? And so they don't want native plants to compete with those trees that they're planting. So they spray those areas. They say that they're spraying specific areas where they're going to be planting trees. But it sounds like.
But even if the plan was to handle, okay, where we want to get rid of invasive species or whatever, it doesn't matter what it is, that is standard practice. Even in the restoration industry, where you're trying to restore land, guess what the first step is? And I'm just like, sometimes fire treatment, but generally it's multiple herbicide treatments. It always goes down to dollars and cents.
Yeah, and unfortunately, it's like a tool in the toolkit that gets overutilized. We don't use any other tools, and we expect that to be the miracle bullet, and we just do the same thing over and over.
Imagine an uphill battle trying to use nature-based solutions for cleanup, and we still fight dig and haul, which is like 10x the cost, because it's just what they do and what they're used to, and the businesses that are set up, and the system that already exists. That's why it takes so many people fighting within the system to make a change.
Right, and maybe to speak to the previous question, you have to talk about operational costs. Like, I think if we were to actually go down to like the Forest Service office and talk with them, we should be talking in their language, right? We should be talking about how what they're doing is like hecka expensive, and how let's mobilize community forces to actually take some money alike to actually make this more effective.
What's the alternative? Are there alternatives?
I like community mobilization.
I think that good alternatives to glyphosate usage is, one, stop viewing the forest as a crop. I understand that the Forest Service is part of the Department of Agriculture, this is how they think, but they also need to start looking at evidence that the way they're doing is not working. So I would think if you're going to use sprays, because like she said, it is a tool. There are some times where it works. Like when I kill an invasive privet, I cut the privet, I paint the stuff with herbicide, and it never comes back. I used to never do that, and when I did it like that, I cut the privet, come back in a year, and there'd be 5 privets. So like you have to use it for some instances. But I think the RX burn angle is also not talked about enough, because Scorch, like I said, my friend Scorch, send his Native American group, his crew there, give them a week, and they'll skip through that area, especially around the Californias, because they're spraying the endangered lilies habitat, and a lily that they tried to arrest me over, because when I came there, they sprayed the lily. I was gonna, where's that camera? Okay, Forest Service, F you, you're a piece of poop. Sorry, I tried not to cut as much. So they sprayed a bunch of endangered California lilies over there, and I got really, really, really mad, because they sprayed them and then planted like 12 lumber trees there. Like literally where the flowers were, they dug a hole and put the flowers. So I filmed a video and it said, F you Forest Service, and I cut the trees, I'm not gonna lie. They put the little saplings. The little saplings, they were like 3 weeks old, so I cut them down. And they come to my house and threatened to like arrest me to my sister, because once they talked to me, they stopped this guy. But when they were talking to my sister, they were like, he cut down specialty trees, especially rare kind of ponderosa pine. And I'm like, what? Yeah, they literally said that. And once they talked to me, I just kept arguing with them and talking like, you're not going to be able to get me in this trouble. For one, I have hella fans, and I'm not scared to tell what happened, and I'll be honest, because in the letter of the law, I did mess up. But they're like, you're going to try to arrest me over a ticket that says damage to profitable lumber trees up the top. Literally says that on top of the ticket, and then eventually they're like, okay, $300 fine. So they're like, they try to intimidate people.
Can I ask, for those of us who don't have a lot of excess income, how can we find seeds? How can we find plants? I can do solar in my backyard, but I'm struggling to like not break the bank buying California natives.
They're so overpriced.
There are a lot of seed banks. I have all you guys check out like your public libraries and search seed banks. And if you are someone who has seeds, please go drop your seeds off at seed banks. But there are a lot of places where you can get free seeds. I also see often like you could get on Facebook groups for California native plants for your specific area and post up there that you're looking for seeds. People will give them to you and donate. So make sure that you are reaching out to your community.
What part of Sacramento? You don't have to say like exactly what part of Sacramento do you live
I'm actually up the hill, so like Placerville above.
in? If you ever have time to make it closer to Sacramento, there's a place called Find Out Farms. And have you been there?
I haven't, but
He sells pretty much all his native plants for $5, sometimes even 3 or 2. And when you walk in, he will literally get mad at you if you don't take free seeds. He has a whole drawer of at least like 100 species of native plants, fruit to grow, vegetables to grow, and he says take them. So I really think you should go there.
Can you repeat that? Did you say Fido Farms?
Find Out Farms.
Find
He is
Out.
a gift from God. Him and Mother's Natives, those are the 2 people I really appreciate. They get a lot of good work done. And Matt is an industry where a lot of businesses don't survive, and he's pretty much like giving away everything. So I try to support him a lot.
I have a question about agriculture before I go to it. I want to come back to the Forest Service for a second, because every issue is complex. And for one thing, we all live in wooden houses, right? And so we have to remember that side of the coin too. But one thing our chapter did is we went out there and we actually surveyed for that exact Mariposa lily, because there were a lot of people living in the forest who were trying to protect it. So it's not a simple thing that all Forest Service people are out there trying to spray and destroy native plants, but it is true we need to be aware and of things that are happening. Just want to get that across. But my question actually has to do with agriculture. So when you showed those so sad pictures of soil in the San Joaquin Valley, and I think about climate change and how they're trying down there, every time I drive down there, they talk about, oh, there's taking away our water, how we can have food from the farms. Doesn't it seem like with climate change, that's not necessarily the place we should be growing food anymore, even if that was traditionally? That should be further north, maybe not even all in California, because you can't just take all land out of agriculture, obviously. But do you agree that that's really not an area we should be supporting anymore for agriculture?
This is a complicated question. Imagine if that was your only family's way of supporting itself for generations. And so you're telling families where that's all they know, that they just can't farm here anymore, the climate has changed. It's not, I think, the easiest conversation to have, and it's a little more complicated than that. Their crops can change. Certain crops we're not growing as much in that area because they are so water heavy, and we need to be looking at transitional crops that can still make money on, that maybe don't require the same water, or are there innovative ways to deal with these crops? But I think it's from my perspective, it's really difficult to go into these industries and just say, well, you just can't do it anymore, because I don't think anybody would be okay with that. Think about what you do for a living to feed your family, and you're told you just can't do that anymore. So that's why my call out was to policymakers to say, let them retire the land and just turn them native, and some sort of tax incentive or paying them for their land to turn it into native. There has to be a win-win.
Yeah, what you're saying makes sense, although I do think about all the subsidies that have been going on forever for the water, giving the water, as from all of our taxpayer money. But I do see what you're saying, so thank you.
Yeah, we're not done. Oh, I was just going to say, it's just always a much more complicated issue than what it seems like.
I would also add that I think a good thing as well is start talking about crops. Some of these people are growing like alfalfa in the desert and stuff. That's something that should probably not be legal in my opinion, and they should be growing something else. But I agree with her, it'd be hard to get them to give up their farms. But I really think another way is if they're closer to like SoCal or the Bay, if you give up the farm, they're just going to turn it into a suburb as well.
attended a carbon farming class out in Woodland a couple years ago, and they had farmers come in and talk about carbon farming, it's called, where they do native hedgerows and native cover crops within their crops. And they also were working on redirecting water to, get back to its natural state so that all these different animals that used to live there would come through. So they're trying to make it more of a native, not a native crop, right, but grow those things in. So if what organization would provide incentives for them to buy seed to do these things or to plant. That's, instead of leaving the land and just doing natives, they can do both things, right?
I recently took a tour of the University of Nevada, Reno, and driest states in the country. They have a native seed lab there where they're banking, and they do give seed to farmers who want to bring in hedgerows. They also do research on hedgerows and micro irrigation and all of these different organic and more sustainable ways of farming. They are doing it. They are researching it. It's right there. You can go and take a tour and look at all of these different ways to do agriculture more sustainably. People are working on it. I think we just don't hear about it enough, right? Which is why we need everybody talking about this on social media so it reaches the masses and we can spread it faster.
What was that called? What place?
So University of Nevada, Reno, and they have a native plant seed lab, and they were telling me that if farmers needed to put hedgerows on their farms, they will give them seed for free. Go tour the local universities and find out what they're doing. You'd be really surprised at how many cool programs that they have, teaching sovereignty. They have different areas where they allow you to go and learn how to farm from the university so that you can go out and help your communities. There's so many great programs. We just don't know about them because we're not getting out there. So I would say to all of you to get out to these different universities and all of these nonprofits within your community and start interviewing them, talking to them, writing about it, posting it on your social media, posting it on your LinkedIn. I posted something about the Nevada Native Seed Lab, and then I had like 3 or 4 people reach out to me because they wanted to volunteer or they wanted to see if they could donate seed. If we're not getting the word out there, we're not spreading this information, but it comes from all of us every day. So think about how you can just, in a small way in your life, spread the good ways to do things, because there are a lot of good ways.
Renee, I just wanted, some people are leaving, so I wanted you to have the opportunity to tell them about the banner and what you want them to do over there. Just a quick, so on their way out, they can...
Oh yeah, I thought the banner was cute. You could take a picture in front of it, and if you wanted, we put a little hashtag there. If you wanted a hashtag, that way we could see all of your pictures on social media. If you're into that, and you want to stand up there and take a picture, or take a picture with Jessie. Yeah, also, please, if there's something that you want to do or speaking to you about something you think that you want to hear your voice heard or a project you want to do, just write it up on the board, because when you write something down, it usually makes it happen. Energy just manifests that for you. I feel like whenever you write down your wishes and dreams, things just seem to come true. So. And it's also nice to see all the different ideas that people have, how they want to help or how they want to make a difference. So don't be shy, just grab a pen and write it on that board so you can take a picture of it later.
If I could just speak to that previous question too, I write grants for small ecological farms, and if you know anyone who farms and who's interested in resources for, native plants and integrating them into their operations, they can get in touch with their Natural Resource Conservation Service office. There's one in every county, I believe, and also their resource conservation districts. And there's usually grant funding, or they can connect you to federal or state resources to
That's right.
get free
There's
plants.
money out there. Go
There's
get it.
plenty of money out there. Yeah. Already down.
Thank you, that's based.
It's pretty big. Yeah, so my question is, my parents live in Fair Oaks, and I up there. And I know what you mean about just like invasive species galore in these types of suburbs around Sacramento County. You know, they have like the classic lot. I mean, they have, you know, some native plants and like you have a big orchard and a garden, but it's lawn galore, oleander, big in my existence. So I guess like they don't listen to me. If anyone knows of any resources that like, I don't know, people who don't understand like the importance of native plants, like what is the most effective and like most friendly introductory resources I could share with my parents and their neighbors? I just don't even know where to start. Understand and like be able to wrap their head around and like would instigate them into action. Just any tips.
I will say, when we first moved into where my grandma's at, when I first moved over there, because she had Alzheimer's, so I moved there to help her. There was no native plant lawns. You guys, my girlfriend, after I did my lawn, there's one down the street, one across the street, one on the side. Everyone's just copying because it looks so good. I think another thing though, and grow some rare plants like.
And a sign that says native habitat, because then people will ask about it. Right. Oh, I wanted to circle back to finding money too. I believe there's a website called pollinatorproject.org, and they just give money out every day to people for certain projects. Yeah, check it out. Like educational projects, all different things, but really simple forms to fill out. But go get the money, do something really cool. Pollinatorproject.org, I believe.
To convince them, if your parents like don't like using water, they're like, oh, the water's so expensive, you could bring about saving the water. But honestly, for the best one I've had is start showing them videos that you think they would kind of like and getting open to that. And also, just for me personally, like I said, if you just grow one that's so beautiful, some people just can't like deny it. Like my neighbor on the left side wasn't so into like native plants, so in the middle of my native plant, I put a Tower of Jewels. You know what that is? It's like a huge plant from like the Canary Islands, and luckily I don't live on the coast because it could be invasive there, but it didn't grow from seed back. I was kind of surprised, but when it bloomed, all my boomer neighbors were like, what the fuck is that? I'm like, oh, it's a Tower of Jewels. It grows perfect with the poppies and native plants. You don't need to water it.
Also, get them into saving the monarch butterflies. Sometimes that's a great way because they're understanding the cycle and looking for the butterflies to arrive, and that could be a spark plant. Find the spark plant.
Great tips, thank you. Jessie, first I just want to say I really appreciate your voice, and especially because you come with a social justice lens. I really appreciate that. I live in an apartment. And so I've been trying to do native plants. I think I discovered you like a year ago. I didn't know anything about native plants. And I was like, oh, I want to do that. So I started doing it, but my parents sprayed. They keep spraying and killing everything. Like, what should I do?
This might sound kind of crazy, but I've actually bribed a couple landscapers with a 20. I'm not even joking.
Okay.
Like, just walking
I
around,
could do that,
just be like, hey, I planted this right here, it's native, I promise it won't get out of control, so they're not going to complain.
Yeah.
Please just don't spray it. There's a lot of them, they look at it as a W, because they're like, oh, a new spot I don't even have to work on, okay.
Yeah.
But you got to communicate it with them, and if that doesn't work, I would talk to the farm people we can, and if that doesn't work, just find another spot to grow the garden. Like, me and my girlfriend, we fuck everywhere. Like, we just had to fix my fence because the county said I had to fix it, even though it's a county fence. So when we fixed it, we noticed there was a big old dirt pile behind it that's on county land, so we dumped all the Clarkie on it. So like, every opportunity you can.
Thank you.
And if you need seeds, hit me up, I got you. You too as well.
I live in a townhome community, and we have a couple of master gardeners who live there, and they just literally take out whatever the landscaper put in and replant whatever they want. And then they joined the homeowners association, so they just basically take over control. So, because I was like, oh, I was thinking about doing that, but I was convinced they'd pull it out. They're like, not anymore, because we were. So, guess what I'm doing.
I love that Jessie's role attitude about making that. I love that you both here clearly have like a lot of knowledge about this stuff. And you're both you're taking action, but just represent like, hey, just go. And you know, don't do the way people are going to do it. And it's more effective and confident in a way. And yeah, I love it. Sorry, the matchup here. But my question is for both of you and also any of the California Native Society people that are here. There's obviously there's like the wider California ecosystem, and there's like smaller regions and stuff. And, I just wanted to know if anybody has like a tip or where to find like information about specific smaller because sometimes it's like just really close, like when something is just on a hill, it's a little different versus the valley. And it's hard to find like specific information about what species would be more beneficial in each region.
That's a good question.
Like both are a little more wide, and some of the questions I think were answered already. People mentioned going to universities that have programs in that area. But if anybody has any other ideas on how to find that specific information.
I believe is it CalFlora or CalScape? CalScape, that website is a gift from God. You just type in your zip code, and it gives you a list. And what I would do is once you see that list, be like, okay, these are all the plants in my area. Just for example, be like, oh, blue dicks. I wonder where the blue dicks grow, like how do they survive? Go like walk around in your area, you'll see, oh, look, there's a little hill right there. The blue dicks like to poke out the hill a little bit. And some on the bottom. Because a lot of these areas, that's why I love this question so much. A lot of the areas of information, they don't know like, oh, this is specifically the lower microclimate or the upper microclimate. So I would use the website to get the list of plants, and then look around in your area, and then you'll be able to tell which one grows best.
If you can find a native plant nursery in the area that you live in, they're extremely knowledgeable. I worked at a native plant nursery in San Diego County, and the people who worked there could tell you what direction, what hillside. They know their stuff. So I would say look for someone that's a nursery that's in your area and see what kind of resources they have too. And map out if you have a garden, map it out. Map out the sun exposure, map out the different areas, the different micro areas, and then take that to them. Bring them the information that you've observed. And I think you'll be able to get a lot better answers.
Can I give 2 plugs?
Yeah.
UCANR.
UCANR, which I'm sure a lot of folks are familiar with, they're a great starting point. They've got a lot of these tools very similar to CalScape within that. There's also this cool website, I think it's called Shade Scale. And if you Google shade map, it should come up. It will actually track the sun in your area, and you can actually see as the day goes, like the shade, where the shade pops up and where the sun is. So that's a really cool free online tool to look up.
Can you write that on?
Hi. Great presentation, by the way. I learned a lot. I'm from Natomas, and I feel like that area just doesn't get talked about enough because I grew up during the moratorium, so no building, but Natomas, if you're familiar with Natomas at all, it's basically just Bradford pear central. Bradford pear trees up and down the streets. I get jumped by them in my backyard. Surprised I haven't filed a police report.
You need to, bro.
I do. My question is, a lot of people in the last 10 years that have moved into Natomas are not from Natomas because after 2015, when the moratorium on our levies got lifted, all they've been doing is building. Every vacant field they see in Natomas is an opportunity for a quick cash grab. Apartments, condos, no entertainment, no grocery stores, just houses. But I want to know, how would you guys go about community outreach? Because my friends, the guy in the glasses in the back, Jake, shout out to my homie Jake, bro. We've been out in the fields trying to research what plants are out there. If we can, maybe do a little seed bombing, just a little bit. But lately, the city has gotten on to the whole, we don't take care of the fields, so we're going to commission people to bring their goats out, and the goats eat the...
Yeah. Start communicating that you're like, this invasive bullshit is gonna burn our houses down because it's mustard, it burns like gas, and it can easily be removed if you just want it, if you let me. And if you really should start doing videos, so you got that personality on me.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I also want to say, shout out to you, man. I think I got hit to your videos in 2023 when you did the ice plant. Yeah, I saw that and I was like, oh yeah, I remember ice plant. It's invasive. Right. Let me tell the homies about this. So let me go out and start telling people about all these invasive plants and a plant native. So I gotta thank you.
Thank you for spreading the word, homie.
What up? How's it going? Both of you slayed it, by the way. Big fan of Matt Damon, and if Matt Damon can survive off of turds and potatoes, then you can plant native, okay? If you survived on Mars, you can do something in your backyard, okay? We're out of the Santa Cruz Mountains. I just wanted to say hi. This is our first time here, and we learned a lot. And we do lake and pond management and restoration back to restoring nature to its energetic original blueprint. I have a couple of questions regarding the Santa Cruz Mountains and old growth redwoods. I know you're a big fan of that. If anyone has a chance, if you see an old growth redwood, you take those shoes off and you absorb that energy. It is powerful. So regarding the old growth redwoods, do you, a lot of times, the couple that we have on our clients' properties, I always see a random live stream coming by it, or it feeds off into a pond. Is this a normal thing? Do they create their own like microclimate?
I wouldn't say they create their own, well they do in a way because they're so tall, like if you go to old growth redwood forests, they get the fog, they capture the fog and it starts making rain. But they're a riparian forest plant, so the more likely scenario is that stream or creek has always been there and the redwood started growing there because of that. And that's why when you go to a lot of old growth redwood forests, the roads will mess up the creeks and then it just becomes Douglas fir and like Sitka spruce. Because redwoods are actually kind of like fussy, like they start growing as a seed. So I would not be surprised, and that's why, because my grand's redwood has the same thing, I'm calling a stream going right through it.
That tiger salamander, that looks awesome. Yeah. I'm going to be on the hunt for that now. On the hunt. Look, guys.
They're in your area. They're in your area.
Yeah, okay. I'll get some photos and everything. One thing I want to talk about was the CZU fire that happened in the Santa Cruz Mountains, the lightning fire. I had a buddy that was working that fire. He had fire chiefs all over that were 20 to 30 years said that for like acre for acre, that was the gnarliest fire they've ever done strictly because of forest bad management. Everything that was burning it back, the old Indians over there, the Ohlone tribe and everything, they would walk through the forest and constantly make little piles. They were cleaning it, and if you can go to some of these properties and see when the redwood forests are maintained, it's absolutely beautiful. You should be able to walk shoeless, without having to step on anything. Last question. What's your favorite smelling flower? You talked about all these dead corpses and which one sucks. Which one has your favorite scent of it?
It sounds kind of like generic, but if you find a patch of milkweed, it smells so good. Like showy milkweed. That might be my favorite one, showy milkweed. Okay. It's not skunk cabbage, though. Skunk cabbage is
I like the sticky, what is it, the California sticky monkey grass?
Monkey flower?
Okay, monkey flower, that is a fragrant one not many people know about.
If you touch it, it moves. Like on the inside, you can make it move. It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
We will be testing that out later today. If anyone wants to chat with us afterwards, we'd love to get more information. First time, we'll be here, and I'm sure we'll be regulars. Thank you very much.
Good question.
I actually have a question real quick for all of you. How many of you have ever heard of CNPS and know what it is? Okay, there's definitely people here who don't. So it is the California Native Plant Society. It is a statewide organization. There's 35 chapters roughly. And there is a chapter in Sacramento. There's a chapter up here in El Dorado County. Lots of free field trips, this kind of thing. So yeah, be sure you follow us because also you can get lots and lots of information. I want to say a lot of you from Sacramento. The Sacramento chapter has a gardening with natives tour. It's something you might enjoy watching to or going to. And so I just want to say a little bit about CNPS for those of you who don't know. Thanks for that.
Great presentation, thank you guys. I wanted to say next weekend, we're walking the wild side in Elk Grove, wastewater treatment plant there. They do all the oak restoration, native riparian forest and stuff out there. And so it's a great opportunity for you to walk around and see it and everything. It's really interesting. At the wastewater treatment plant in Elk Grove, it's Beach Lake Park.
Do they plant hibiscus there? Kind of a random question.
Well, the buffer land that surrounds the treatment plant, they do a whole bunch of restorations.
Yeah.
They have done a lot of native grasses and.
Because I keep finding endangered hibiscus in the area.
I'm not sure if plants there, but it's just a great resource to go out there in vernal pools too. You get a chance to see that too.
I'm
Just
down.
to get up. So if anyone has a chance next weekend, it's you can look it up, walk on the wild side. It's a great place to go.
Perfect.
Can you write that on the poster? Can you write it on the poster?
Can you write that on the poster when you leave? So.
Okay, I have two questions. One highly specific, so I was like, do I want to share this with the whole crowd? And then the second one, less specific. Thank you so much, both of you, for coming and speaking. I think it's really inspiring and important work. My first question is, I live in Amador City, which is the smallest incorporated city in California, but we are a minor town. So I live on minor tailings. It's pretty wrecked, though. There's like a lot of green, and I think there's opportunity there. My husband's on the city council, and I've spoken to the mayor, and I'm the president of the community and business associations. I feel like I have an opportunity to like do some work there and like give a gift to the land that could keep going for generations. And everybody is on board, so I'm like, what do I do? Like, how do I start this movement? There's also a lot of ranching around, but I think it's called, like, we're on the edge because we're in the Sierra Nevadas, and there's 2 creeks that flow through, and there's like lots of birds, and good things are going on, but like, how do I build upon that?
What do you want to do?
Well, I want to really like grow a lot of native plants, and I think there's a lot of invasive species, but I'm a little overwhelmed by the project. Like, do I go and like, let's make all these native plants illegal, like, or invasive plants illegal, or like when they're starting to like sell off, you know, land, and people come in and they're like going Home Depot and Lowe's and just like planting all this garbage, you know, and it's like feels wrong. But you can't just like make things illegal. So what, like, where would you begin?
I feel like you have a good opportunity to educate.
Okay.
But I think you need to start a group within your community where you all are meeting up with a common goal or determining what that goal is, and maybe not too big. Got to keep it small and tight and build on that. I reference the city of Reno again. I'm really impressed with the volunteer organization that they have there, how many good works they do within the community, removing invasive species, doing cleanup when people are just like illegally dumping, and all kinds of different programs. And they've organized so well that people just come out every week and sign up online to be part of just taking care of the community. So I think you need to start small and keep it really organized and start developing a database of everybody that's within your community so that you can communicate.
Yep, I have that.
Yes, you need to have some sort of social media site dedicated to that and really get clear on what is the project that you want to do. And then if I were you, I would look at that pollinatorproject.org and get money to fund it.
Okay.
You know, because it's small chunks of money, but it's like, I think like $900 increments.
Okay.
They give away every day. Get some money to help.
Totally.
And keep building on it. And what would that look like 2 years from now?
Right.
Right? So
Okay.
just get really clear and get organized.
What my goal is and like, okay.
Is it Sutter Creek when we drive through Emerald County, is it Sutter where they have like the sign with all the native plants around it? I think it might be Sutter Creek.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm. Sutter Creek.
You should do something like that, I think.
I mean, definitely.
Like,